Online, what would you use for your online source?
See if they have application on their website.
Okay. What else?
Go on like this, I know there's, I can't remember which one what it's called, but there's like this big website that has, yeah, has a bunch of like, job listings.
Sure.
For your area.
Sure. What else?
You know, you can sign up for this one thing, because my cousin did it, but you can sign up for this one thing that like sends your number out to, like, you choose what job you're looking for, and then it sends your number to the people who are looking for an employee.
And do you know if that particular company or whatever, can you put your resume right on there?
I don't think so. I think they just call you and go from there.
So that's all good things, right? So you gotta think about if you're going to do this, the cost of that is one of those things that you're going to have for your business, right? So what would some of your hiring costs be?
Well,
Okay, wages in a sense. So they talk about in this part, if you actually go through and read this, what's the difference between exempt employees and non-exempt employees? No, you're not exempt from work. Yeah, right? So exempt versus non-exempt. Exempt would be employees that you're going to pay a salary to. All right? If I work for salary versus not working for a salary, meaning I'm an hourly worker. Okay? We've kind of talked about this before. Which one's more beneficial? Salary?
wait, salaries can't be fixed, right?
It's fixed.
Well, it all depends.
It all depends on what?
So, how much overtime pay?
Okay? So, does a salary worker get overtime?
No.
No, right? They're just kind of expected to work, in a sense. So is that always a good thing? Maybe, maybe not, right? If you got a real cushy job, you're maybe only working, 30 hours a week. But a lot of salary people are probably working 60 hours a week, right? And they're not getting that overtime pay. But what's the difference between the two? Well, my salary people are probably making more or less money. Depends again kind of what it is, right? But most of the time, your salary people are probably going to make more. Okay? If you're going to be a non-exempt employee, this would be your hourly ones. They're going to do that because even if you're going to work overtime, you're probably not going to reach the salary person. So would you think if I'm trying to hire both positions, a salary person is probably going to have a title of what? Junior employee, did you say? No. Your salary people are going to probably be your office workers, your kind of upper echelon people. Your non-exempt hourly workers are going to be kind of the guts of your company, right? They're going to be the people that are come in and work day in and day out for that whatever amount. Okay, your production line people. So, hiring-wise, am I going to put more time into hiring somebody that I'm going to give a salary to or somebody that I'm going to give an hourly wage to? Salary, right? Because these people, we would probably hold them to higher expectations, more responsibilities, those kind of things. No offense, but these people over here, this would be our turnover rate people, right? Unfortunately, it's high school kids in part-time jobs, even college kids, right? So, the big thing now is at Wells, because it's summertime, they're going to start doing their ice cream production. They're looking for more of these people, right? Those hourly people. Yeah, for a college kid, it's probably not a bad gig, right? You're going to work hard and try to make some money, and so it's probably worth your while, all right? So, what goes into hiring a salary person, which means probably a management position. What do I have to know about, or what would go into hiring that person?
Background checks.
Background check, okay? Resume. Who does the resume looking?
HR.
HR, right? So you probably have an HR department. Okay, so everybody understand what he said by a reference looker? They're gonna go through and if Easton's applying for a job and Chloe's in charge of HR at that company, she's gonna call all of Easton's references. Right? That's why when you pick a reference, you usually pick somebody that you think or hope would say good things about it. Right? Okay, what else? What else would go through that process? Okay, so interviews, exactly right. Might have an interview committee. Now again, you might hire those people. You might hire a whole nother company to do this for you. Okay, now that's probably a little bit more expensive, but what's that? Okay, so we're gonna get into that too, right? And then obviously you're gonna have to pay all those people that are doing that, so this is gonna have to go through payrolls somewhat, okay? From there then, other costs of hiring somebody, advertising the job, we just talked about that, or different ways of advertising. Maybe you go to a job fair, so you gotta pay somebody to go to that job fair. Anybody ever been to a job fair? No? Not yet? Okay. They have this for like schools sometimes. You know, if you're a teacher, you can go to one giant place and there's a bunch of schools around. Okay. But this is going to happen with any kind of company, or if you're just in general, you're looking for different job markets. Okay. And then the last one of hiring, maybe you want to, if you hire somebody, you help them relocate. So a big portion of this is, okay, we want you to come work for our company, but we want to move you down to Tyson would have taken their people down to Arkansas back in the day, because that's where their home office is, and they wanted those people there. So they would help do that for you, pay that transportation fee, maybe your plane tickets, moving your stuff from one point A to point B. So you got to think about all that stuff too. Okay. Another way that you can do this is go through an actual agency. Okay, and the agency will do this for you. So you can hire somebody. And this is what Derek was kind of talking about. You could try to use a headhunter. Everybody understand what that is? That person's job is literally looking for people that would fit best for your company. That person would research this, what kind of person that you want, and then they would go out and they would go through that list of people, like Olivia was saying, on that website, and they would zero in on that person. Okay? So there's a couple different ways you can pay this person right here. You can pay them on a retainer, or you can pay them on a contingency. A retainer, the person would get paid no matter what happens, really. So you're paying for them to find somebody, and they are going to get paid even if the person that you recommended to them didn't take the job. Okay, so that's probably somebody that works in your own company. If it's on a contingency, they're only going to get paid if the person signs a contract with your company. And then they get, it's kind of like a commission rate. All right? Those people would make pretty good money, though. So realistically, they're only going to maybe have to work portions of the year, because that one job could make them a lot of money. The companies that would use something like that are going to be your higher-end companies, meaning your big companies that are going to zero in on somebody really important. Okay? You could go through and look at temporary help agencies. So this is kind of what you guys were talking about. Siouxlandjobs.com, those kind of things, right? If you needed temp work or workers, this would be like, kind of substitute teachers would be in that category, or if your company had like office workers or people that worked in a cubicle and they had a baby, you could go through this company and find somebody that would fill in that spot for a certain amount of time. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily sign that person up for the long-term deal. They're just going to come in. And some people like to do this, you know what I mean? So then they're working at different areas and different places.
I don't recommend them, they're not very good.
You don't like those?
No,
Okay.
they never show up.
Those people don't?
One time she called me and she's like, can you work for me because my windshield wipers aren't working? And it wasn't even raining. I'm like, you're stupid.
Okay.
No, seriously, she never showed up.
All right.
Do you think like those people that come in, those people that have like kids, if they do like a better job and they're worse than their kids, you think other people take over their job?
It's very possible. At least then that company could reach out to them and see if they were looking for a full-time job.
They would be happy. Could that happen with like a substitute teacher?
Absolutely, absolutely. So teachers, when you go and do like your student teaching, that's kind of a glorified job application, you know what I mean? So like, especially in the big towns like Omaha, if you student teach somewhere and you do a good job, you're just about gonna guarantee yourself a job.
That's what Mrs. Sitzman did in 5th grade. She used to be a substitute teacher.
Right.
Teacher in 5th grade.
Right.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Harvey.
So here's the question, with these help agencies, who's in charge of basically paying those people? Who's in charge of, do those kind of people get benefits?
It's from their own company, it's not through wherever they work.
Exactly right. So Olivia hires somebody through her company to come in and fill their receptionist job for 3 weeks. That person, Mary, gets benefits from BetterSiouxLand.com or whatever that company was. All right? You don't have to take care of that. You don't have to worry about those kind of things.
So then would they get paid through that company too, or would they
Exactly.
get paid through the?
Well,
Company
we're paying to use that person,
Okay, so you're paying that company.
but we're paying that company. And it could happen either way. And that you could basically have, you know, a contract written that way. So like if you're talking about substitutes, we ourselves, Galen, would pay those people individually. But on some of those situations, you're basically renting that person. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, if it's like that type of thing, like, we pay the company more than that you would actually get.
Probably, yes. So that company's making money on top of it. Exactly right. So, but you're realistically hoping that they don't send you a dud. You know what I mean? And like I said, again, some people like to do that just because then they're not stuck in the same routine all the time. They're not going to the same place. They're kind of changing jobs all the time, but they're doing the same job. You know what I mean?
Is that like would you get paid like per diem for that?
Yeah, I would guess. I would
Would
guess.
the company like lowball you? Like would they be like, oh, you're only gonna be here for like?
Well, that's what Justice was saying. So they're going to have their own kind of system put in place, and you're going to have to pay that system.
Also, yeah, is that what short staffed is? Is that what that place is? You know, like on Sioux City, you have that company short staffed. Is that what that is?
I would guess.
They probably sell short snacks.
Grayson says yes.
They don't sell little people.
You need to be Mitchell.
They sell midgets.
No. All right. So tomorrow we'll come back. We'll look at the examples, and then you can work on the assignment in class.